Yeah, too much drama. A lot is going on in South African politics. Something comes as a shock to everyone because nobody in their own rightful minds has thought one day the deputy president of the EFF is going to resign from his duties, from all his duties as an EFF member. But today, midday, the EFF held an agent press conference or press briefing regarding his resignation from the party and the fact that it turns out that he's also going to join the MK party. And obviously people are going to speculate around that, the reasons and all of that. And also the media. You know, in the media, the EFF is an enemy to the white capital establishment that is in South Africa, that seeks to continue exploiting the majority of South Africans who have been deliberately been removed from participating in the strategic sectors of the economy of South Africa by the previous cruel apartheid regime. And those majority of people, it's black people. In South Africa, when you speak about poverty, when you speak about unemployment, when you speak about any sort of problem that you can come across in life, you are actually referring to black people in South Africa. All those challenges, it is us who are facing those challenges. And people sometimes, it is, I don't know, is it a lack of knowledge, a lack of appetite to read? Because, you know, if you go and read and look historically what has happened, you'll understand why we got to be where we are. What was supposed to happen, which here the ANC had that simple project, because they are the ones who have been in power for the past 30 years. And then you will listen to the fools, the ANC. They are going to try to throw some jabs to the EFF regarding the resignation of Deputy President Floyd Shivambu. Not realizing that actually those who are suffering the most, it's the ANC. But people, the way they are speaking as if it is the EFF that has lost them. The EFF only lost 1% of the votes that they've got compared to the votes they got in 2019. And that 1% in 2019 came from KZN, because that is where they grew by a bigger margin, even in the last election. And it turns out that those votes were actually the Zuma loyal fans or loyal supporters from KZN. They didn't have a home because the former president Zuma also had issues with the ANC. So EFF was their best option, where they can run to, at least where they can feel that they are at home. And EFF was convinced that it has grown, it has got new membership. Unfortunately, when MK came, then the orphans remembered their home. They said, our home is now back, and then they went back to the MK. And those are the people who left the ENC, the EFF. Otherwise, if you look at all the other provinces, you'll find that the EFF has improved, even if it's by a small margin. But it has grown. Only in KZN where it has declined. But overall, in general, the EFF has not lost that much compared to the ANC. But if you look at the media, you'd swear that it was the EFF that lost, like the majority the most. It has lost the most. The DA itself, it did not grow, did not go anywhere. It only got 1%. The DA, it only got 1%. So the party that really grew, it's the MK in these elections. And I said, but the EFF didn't lose that much. Those are people who were loyal to Jacob Zuma. They didn't have a home when he left the ANC, so they came and voted for the EFF. Yeah, so now the MK is there, and they went back to the person that they support, who? Mr. Jacob Zuma. So now what the EFF, all it needs to do is to actually look, because this is a new chapter for it now, to start new beginnings. People say that no, this is the beginning of an end of an EFF. It won't happen. And you see that they're pushing Gayton Mackenzie. Gayton Mackenzie won't last in politics. His politics, they won't stand. EFF won't lose relevance. I hear a lot of analysts that we know which they are the puppets of the white capital establishment to create an impression to people that EFF is dying. EFF is not dying, and EFF will not die. Even with the deputy president resigning, the EFF will still stand. It will be there for a very long time, and it will never lose relevance. Why? Because the EFF stance is basically on the real issues that are facing the black majority in South Africa. No, it has the stance of open border. Yeah, if you listen to the media, that has an intention to misdirect the message. Some of the messages the EFF. Therefore, you would believe that the EFF says there must be an open border, the way the message is being misinterpreted. But if you go and listen properly to the interviews where the CIC and some of the EFF leadership, where they explain the stance of their open border, what it means, then you will realize and understand. They would know the media is actually intentionally changing the message of the EFF. They say they lost the votes because of the stance on the foreign national. The question that we must ask is that, okay, there was an alternative to that stance of open border. Gayton Mackenzie was actually saying, me, I will close the border, Mabahambe, and all of that. If the EFF lost the votes because of that, why Gayton Mackenzie did not gain those votes? Because he was a right alternative, and people didn't vote for EFF because of open border policy. And there was an alternative to the stance of the EFF. It was there. So why this vote did not go to Mackenzie? They didn't go to Mackenzie because if indeed it was true that people did not vote for the EFF because of open border policy, Mackenzie was supposed to gain those votes. He didn't. But now I see that they are trying to push him, and it's a media, which is why you must go and do your own research. They are trying to push him. They are trying to compare him with CIC. Julius Malema has a lot of knowledge. You cannot compare him with Gayton Mackenzie. You cannot. You just won't compare Gayton Mackenzie and Julius Malema. Julius Malema has a political ideology. You may not agree with his political ideology. You may not agree with his leadership, but he's got the ideology, which is what is important. And by the way, we are not following personal bodies, Mogland EFF. No, we are following what? An ideology. That is what we are following. Even if the CIC himself can resign in the EFF, as long as the coming leadership is going to hold on to the political ideology of the EFF, it is still going to have supporters, because EFF members are not supporting people, a person. They are supporting what? An ideology. Unlike many other parties where you see that people are supporting what? A human being, which is a problem, because a human being can make his personal decision tomorrow. He can make his personal decision tomorrow. and then everything just falls out. Now you're gonna have to follow that person to the other part. But if you follow an ideology, even if like you can change all the leadership of the EFF, if it holds on to its ideology, it will always have followers. So some of us, we do wish and appreciate like the work that was done by the Deputy President Floyd Shivambu. I mean, like, she has done enough to put the EFF where it is today. She has played a very huge role. You cannot take that away from him. But what you must notice is that EFF is a formidable organization. It's got structures. The reason it took so long, like, to put ANC where it is today, it's because the ANC was formed properly when it was formed. An organization needs structures, so that when calamities like this one, this is not a calamity, when issues like this one, where an influential leader like Deputy President Floyd Shivambu decides to make a personal, political decision like the one that she has made, you don't lose direction. You understand? Because you are not depending on the personal competency and capability of someone. You have established structures, but you depend on the structures. All you need to do is to put the right people in those structures. And in the EFF, there are a lot of people who will come into play, but I hear that the president said they are not going to replace him because there's a conference that is coming. If they replace him, it's going to create expectations, and then after those expectations, if they are not met during the conference, and then it could create another more problem, which is a wise decision, by the way. Leave the position vacant and wait for the conference that is coming, and then people can come and contest for the deputy president, and then we move forward. But those who think that this is the beginning of the end of the EFF, you're gonna eat a humble pie. EFF is going to continue because it's a formidable organization. It has built its structures. You cannot compare EFF and COPE. Those are two totally different organizations. COPE did not have the structures like the EFF have done. EFF, they've built the EFF structures. It's got the structures, which is the reason why the MK have recruited the DP of the EFF, by the way. Some are speculating that this is a strategic way of the strengthening the relationship between MK and EFF. We don't know. For me, it is still early to speculate anything. Let's just wait. Only time will tell.